Well, the paper I'm presenting is entitled Qualitative Comparative Analysis of Variables Influencing the Acceptance of Life Settlements in Spain by my mates Laura González Vila from University of Barcelona in Spain, Mario Arias Oliva from Complutense University of Madrid in Spain, Orlando Limarrua from Polytechnic of Porto in Portugal. My name is Jorge de Andrés Sánchez from University Rovira i Virgili in Spain. Well, what are studying in this paper? Well, the paper is about life settlements. What is a life settlement? It's an agreement in which a life insurance policyholder obtains an amount by transferring his or her life policy to an investor. The buyer carries the right to obtain the benefits and the obligation to pay the standing premiums. What's the problem we are analyzing? Well, in many countries, as Spain, these agreements do not exist nowadays. So, from the perspective of an Spaniard insured, they are a novel financial technology. The question we're trying to answer in this paper is, what are the factors influencing the successful development of life's secondary markets? And the response comes by combining factors in the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology, and by Venkatesh and collaborators, and ethical concerns from buoyant cell sites of life settlements. Life settlements has a lot of linked problems from ethical and moral perspectives. Well, what is the proposed model? Well, we test the influence of the following variables on intention to use. Firstly, performance expectancy, which is an unified theory variable. We suppose that it influences positively intention to use life settlements, because a seller can obtain a better price by means of life settlement than by surrendering it. Well, intention to use, also we want to point out that intention to use is a construct that comes from unified theory by Venkatesh and collaborators. Well, effort expectancy is the perceived difficulty to agree life settlements. Life settlements are traded with complex architecture. This fact might suppose a problem for the expansion of life settlement trades. We expect that expected easiness influence positively intention to use life settlements. The third variable is close people approval that influences positively to intention to use life settlements, and it is built up over the basis of the unified theory construct social influence. The purpose of life insurance is given an economic protection to people close to the policyholder. So their opinion might be important to agree or not to agree this kind of transaction. Well, ethical problems, to perceiving ethical problems is negatively linked. We suppose it's negatively linked with intention to use life settlements. Well, and this kind of problems comes because insurable interest is lost and is amplified due to moral and hazard and adverse selection problems. And lastly, facilitating conditions is an unified theory construct that measures the necessary organizational and technical infrastructure to use a specific technology, and we test if it is positively linked with intention to use. Well, what materials we use in this paper? Well, our analysis uses a survey of people who had a university degree, preferably in any branch of social science. They are economists, lawyers, sociologists, whose professional activity is embedded in financial sector. For example, they are insurance brokers or they are financial advisors. Likewise, people in questionnaire is over 35 years and have a monthly income of 200 and more euros. So it ensures that asked persons have enough income to be life policyholders and may perceive life settlements as an interesting way to solve their their contracts if needed. The sample available is small since there are only 45 answers, where 21 come from men and 24 come from women. The scale for all common items with Arias Oliva et al. is adapted from their questionnaire. In fact, the items come from unified theory papers by Venkatesh. We also propose splitting the construct ethical problems into items, which are related to ethical problems in both sides of the transactions, sellers and buyers. Quantitative methods. Internal consistency of scales has been measured with Cronbach alpha and with exploratory factorial analysis to measure causal relations between explanatory variables and output variable. A suitable method to deal with small samples is Fuzz's qualitative comparative analysis by ranking. Well, calculations are performed with the software if SQCA31 by ranking. The value of the construct for an element of the sample is the standardized punctuation in the construct first principal component. Subsequently, we have calibrated membership functions of constructs from their standardized punctuations. We have considered for the 10th, 5th, and 90th percentile of registered punctuations a membership value of 0.5 and 1 respectively within the calibrating function of our used software. Well, by combining intermediate and parsimonious solutions of Fuzz's qualitative comparative analysis, we can conclude that the most decisive variable in the intention to use settlements is performance expectancy. The role of business expectation on intention to use live settlement is unclear, whereas intermediate solution leads to a strong acceptance of second hypothesis, a parsimonious solution suppose a clear rejection of that hypothesis. For the ethical factors, close people approval and ethical problems, we can conclude that the third and fourth hypotheses are weakly accepted. They are present in a recipe with expected sign, but their consistency is under 0.75. In the case of facilitating condition, its soundness is clearly rejected since in both Fuzz's qualitative comparative analysis solutions is presented in two recipes with contradictory sign. Well, thanks a lot for your kind attention.